No, it's good. It's good. And speaking of trash talk, Roger Goodell came out with a statement on behalf of the NFL, and players have been trashing that left and right. Kenny Stills, who is one of the, three players, is it? 3 players in the league that's still kneeling during the anthem.
Yep.
He tweeted, save the ish. It's an expletive. I'll say ish. Eric Reed, who is good friends with Kaepernick and has been supportive of him, and he's kneeling as well. He tweeted, I'm looking forward to Songs of the Season 2.0. So that was what they put, like the NFL had an initiative in which they released some songs and donated the proceeds to social justice initiatives. And a few other players, a couple linebackers today came out and were very critical of the statement that the NFL read. Rob G, do you want to read an excerpt or anything from the statement? It wasn't bad, but it was very vague. It was very mundane. It was right down the middle. They didn't take much of a stand.
Basically. I got it. It's Vikings linebackers Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, who both played together at UCLA, so they've been teammates for 10 years almost now. This is what they said on Twitter in a joint statement. Your statement, talking about Goodell, said nothing. Your league is built on black athletes. Vague answers do nothing. Let the players know what you're actually doing, and we know what silence means. The Vikings have open dialogue with players, and we're all working towards solutions with the team. If anyone has suggestions for how to support the city, we love to hear them. Our team doesn't just want to donate. We want to work with local organizations, get out there to help facilitate change.
Right. That's the player statement. Yeah, right. That's them. I was saying the Goodell, but Goodell's statement, as they said, was just vague. But go ahead, Rob.
Right. It was, Chris, and I don't blame the players for pushing back. And you can look at it now. The NFL can draw it up any way or spin it or put it out there any way that they want. And I don't want to use the term, but they're negligent. How that negligent in this? In that they stifled, stamped out, whatever word you want to use, a guy who was trying to make a difference, a guy who wasn't hurting anybody, Chris, a guy who didn't rally his teammates and force them to all follow his lead. Nothing. That's your private time, Chris. If I want to close my eyes during the national anthem, there's nothing in the CBA that tells me what I need to do. I'm even against the NBA's policy that they put in place and that the players agreed. Shame on the NBA. That still should be your time to do what you want to do during that time. And everything means different. Things mean different, Chris, to each person. Right. Whether I want to get on my knees, whether I want to close my eyes, whether I want to recite the Star Spangled Banner, whether I don't. It should be up to me during that time without me hurting anybody else. And now to be like, oh, this is tragic and how terrible this is disingenuous is what it is. This is what he was trying to get across 4 years ago and was shunned by this very same league. Stop throwing money at stuff. I get it, Chris. We need money to get some things done. The NFL can get things done. I've seen it happen.
What I'm saying, Rob, is I agree with the players being critical, and I say take the next step. Issue some demands. Because you are still playing for this league. You are still getting paid for this league. They can't do anything without you. So now issue some demands. So I got some demands. If I was a player, I would be saying, number one, and Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, he released a strong statement, Rob. You could tell it was heartfelt. He talked about systematic racism and how it has to end. He was strong. He tied this. He pointed out this is not an isolated incident. He tied it to the history of racial oppression in this country going back to slavery. And what I would like to see, if I'm the players and I'm this upset, and rightly so, then let's put some demands on the NFL, because the NFL is making all these plans to play football in the middle of a pandemic.
Yep.
And if you don't want to play, they can't play. So come out and say, we want the owners and the commissioner and the owners together to release a collective statement or
denouncing
hold some
what's
type
going
of press
on.
conference. Right, denouncing it. And Rob, in your statement or your press conference would be very powerful. But even if it's just a statement, you, like you said, denounce what's going on and you call for the immediate arrest of the 4 officers. Not just Chauvin or whatever his name is. The 4 officers. You saw the police chief in Minneapolis, Rob. What'd he say? For them just to stand there, the other 3 cops to stand there and watch.
Criminal.
He said there's no difference.
It's criminal, Chris. It's criminal.
Because here's the thing, Rob. And here's where, I mean, we know they're wrong, just they're wrong, period. But let's just take it a step further. Had those 3 cops not been there, and it was just the 1 cop, then maybe the people watching, I'm not saying they got to beat the cop down, but maybe you jump on him and just keep him from killing George Floyd.
They would have knocked him over, Chris. I
Something
agree with
right.
you.
Just get him off the dude's neck. I'm not saying you beat up a cop or anything like that. Get him off George Floyd's neck. Maybe that is almost like they were standing, not almost, they were, Rob.
Right.
They were standing guard so he could kill George Floyd, even though they didn't think he was going to kill him, because had somebody moved, they probably would have got shot. And so that's number 1. Make that demand. Number 2, I think they need to call in the owners as well in your statement, in your press conference. We want police reform. We want these police departments reformed. And here's a start. From now on, when a police officer or a group of them kill an unarmed citizen, or, there's police brutality or whatever, have the federal prosecutor
not
try
local.
the case. Not local, because the local ones are in bed with the police unions in a lot of cases, in most.
Yep.
So have a federal prosecutor who's got no ties to that local department come in and do the investigation. Try the case.
How did the cops finally get busted and sentenced in the Rodney King? It wasn't the local. They lost. Right. They got off in the local government and the local trial with Rodney King. You know how they got up? They got him. George Bush sent in a federal prosecutor, Chris, and tried them on civil rights violations. That's how those cops went to jail for what they did to Rodney King. Beat him like a dog.
Yep.
Federal prosecutor. That what you're talking about is exactly right. Someone who's not in cahoots.
Yep. That's how these dudes keep getting off.
Yes.
We saw it with the Ahmaud Arbery case, right? The police department had that thing for 2 months, that tape. They were going to let the dudes go. Nothing. And so then the third thing, Rob, Kaepernick needs a job. If he turns you down, that's his prerogative. He needs to be offered a job. We know he's good enough. We know he's young enough. Offer him a job. And look, Roger Goodell, they can, as you said, Rob, they can get it done, because Roger Goodell made sure a few years ago that Michael Sam, the homosexual player from Missouri, got drafted. And the Rams who drafted him, they didn't have to do Hard Knocks that year because of it.
That's
reported. Right. So if you can get a player drafted, you can get a player signed. And he's clearly good enough. So that's what I want to, that's the next step, Rob. Look, speaking out, that's the first step. Showing your displeasure, that's the first step. There's a second step, though. And I
also,
think the players
Chris,
need to take it.
In the language too, don't pussyfoot around in saying, "Oh, this unfortunate situation." You know how no,
right?
The murder The murder
it was a murder.
All right, of Floyd in front of all of our eyes. Call it what it is. I remember when Skip and Shannon were doing a lot of the Kaepernick stuff, Chris, when it first broke, years ago. And the one thing that and I said this to Skip, and you know this because you were on with him as well. Skip he wouldn't just say like the unfortunate situation or incident or whatever. He would say unarmed black men killed by white cops. Call it what it is.
Right.
Call it what it is.
Excellent.
That's
point.
how you stop these people. That's what I'm saying. Do not let them, do not. Oh, it's an unfortunate incident. No, an unfortunate incident is I fell off the balcony. Right. That's an unfortunate incident.
Right.
This is murder.
An unfortunate incident is an accident.
Yes.
Something
this is
like
not
that.
An accident.
Right. No question about it. And as we've said, look, money talks. I said my grandfather used to say, money don't talk, it hollers. And these are some of the wealthiest people in America. These are people with connections to police chiefs, to corporate titans. They're corporate titans themselves, to lawmakers, to the White House. They can get things done. And like you said, if they come out in no uncertain terms, in strong language, then you can change things. And that's what needs to be done. And I think that's what the players need to demand. The players got to understand their power.
They have power, Chris, but you got to be willing to use it.
Yes.
And that is the thing. And you got to be selfless. You can't worry about, well, my career is only 3.5 years, and that's not how you do it.
No,
because that's how they've used you all this time and not taking care of you. Sometimes you brought up Kurt Flood, Chris. He gave up his career for free agency for everybody else.
Right. Kaepernick did it. Ali did it. Ali didn't know he was going to ever fight again.
Had no idea.
So that's the type of stratosphere we're talking about. But, Rob, you and I both believe the players wouldn't miss a game. They wouldn't miss a game. They might not even miss a practice.
Yes,
you miss a couple practices probably. Yep. The owners would not let it happen. They need you. You generate too much money.
Look at what they did in Missouri. Those football players on scholarship, Chris.
Right. They had something to lose.
They had something to lose. The coach has their scholarship in his back pocket. Those kids had nothing, but they banded together, and they got that campus cleaned up to make it suitable for them.
And didn't miss a game.
Nope.
Missouri. We're not about Alabama even.
Missouri.
Ohio State. Missouri. Nobody outside of Missouri cares about Missouri football.
Stop.
But still.
I went to Mizzou. I went there.
No, did you?
Yes.
To visit?
No. I did a program.
Online?
No, I did a program on campus in Columbia, Missouri, for newspaper management.
They have a great journalism department.
They do, and I worked at I was there, and it was an awesome place, and Columbia, Missouri was cool. Where the school was set, Chris, beautiful, loved it.
All right. Your turn to weigh in.
Did you?
I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, okay.
877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. As it relates to social issues, do NFL players have unrealistic expectations of the league? And what are some tangible things that the league should seek to do, seek to change?
Let's start with Marcel in Mississippi. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marcel?
Yo, what's up, Rob? What's up, Chris? How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Good, buddy.
Good. Man, if the players really want to do something, they need to do a real silent protest, not show up, not do anything. Make them stand on the foot that the players been, bringing dollars to the league with year after year, making these guys rich off of them. If the black players weren't in the league, we wouldn't have no NFL.
Well, let me tell you this, Marcel.
70% black, basically.
And we've seen it, though. And, Chris, but you got to be willing to make a sacrifice. How did the baseball union, Chris, become so strong? What did they do? They stopped the World Series.
Yep.
The World Series have been played every year for 100 and some odd years, Chris. What did they do?
And Rob, I'm going to say something because, look, obviously it's harder for a guy who ain't that good, relatively speaking. Right. He got 2, maybe 3 years in the league, not making a ton of money. But it could even be this. It could be the best players, the wealthiest players, the ones with the huge contracts who really don't need any more money. If they wanted to say, look, we get it with you guys, but we're not playing. How about that? They wouldn't have to sit out, believe me.
No, I get it. But if you do it together as a group, the chances of everybody, because you can't punish.
I don't know if Pat Mahomes not got his deal, doesn't have his deal yet. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? To whom much is given, much is expected.
Who's going to get his deal? He's
right, but so I'm saying the guys that already have the huge deals.
No, I get it. Fred in Los Angeles, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Fred?
Hey, guys. You guys must have been reading my mind, because this morning I was just telling my girlfriend, and I want to get a little bit more radical. I said I wish that every African-American player in every major sport, I'm not playing until I see some reform with police brutality in this country.
Right.
I mean, we have so much power that we just don't use it. I mean, it's an abomination that they have to have you don't need a Rooney Rule. In the NFL, all you need is a couple of players to say,
just stand up.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or to say, I'm not playing for Arizona if they don't hire minorities.
Exactly.
I'm not going there. We saw the Mannings decide they're not going to San Diego, right? We're not going there. How about that? What would happen if you told Jacksonville, we're not playing in Jacksonville as long as that owner continues to do what he does? What would happen? They would force him to sell. He'd have no choice but to sell.
Right, and even if I mean, you look at the college football thing where there's no black coaches there. If we start having recruits saying, "I'm not going to your school because you don't have a black coach on your staff," how many more black coaches would there be hired?
No question.
Right.
Rob, let's keep it real. When they started having some black coaches in college basketball and black players, a lot of time, like John Thompson,
right?
He would make sure he talked to the black reporters. And what happened? They started hiring black reporters.
Yep.
That was helping black reporters out, getting jobs getting beats that they would not have otherwise gotten. And so I agree. I would love to see the players do it. Absolutely love it. But here's the thing. They need unity, and they would need demands. Right. And that's the problem. There's no organization. As nice as it is that each individual player comes out with a statement or a tweet or whatever, until they come together with some unity and organization and say, these are the demands we want to see, it can't be done. Right now, they don't even know. They couldn't say, well, we're not playing until what?
No,
until the 4 cops are arrested?
Exactly,
it's deeper than that.
It's deeper
as much
than
as we
that.
want those 4 cops arrested, it's deeper than that. They need to unify, and you and I have talked about it.
Right. You need a game plan. You need
question.
one. Jerry in Oregon, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jerry?
Yeah, it's Gary.
Gary, okay. Sorry
Gary.
about that.
We blame that on Rob G.
Yes, we're doing all right, man.
We're good, man.
Yeah, I love your show. Listen,
Thank you.
Today's Trash Talk Tuesday, and I just have a question for you two.
Yeah.
We have all of the talk about what the athletes should do, and I don't hear you guys putting down the mics and walking off the radio show.
We're bringing attention to it. Number one. Hold on. We're bringing attention to it. Number one, you asked the question. Number two, we don't make $10, $15 million a year, or haven't already made it. Everybody has to take care of their family. And I'm not saying, but their money is a factor.
But that's not, we're not in the NFL. We're not in the NFL. But no, hold on.
If we decided to give up the radio show, do you think that really is going to make a difference?
Exactly.
In this situation, really?
I think it would bring a lot of attention to the problem. We have a huge problem in this country.
You got people burning down buildings. That's not bringing attention to it?
I think people.
Oh, yeah.
I think they got the attention of people.
Right.
But when people get involved, the media is here, and Chris and I both have newspaper backgrounds. We're journalists, and we're not a part of the story. We're reporting the story, right, Chris? That's what we do.
Right.
We're not a part of the story. We're telling you and giving you observations and stuff that we've covered and scenarios and situations that have played out before. We've seen this before. But we're not a part of the story. This is not our story.
No question. All right. One NFL player wants to show us a side of the protest that you aren't seeing on TV. We are glad to welcome in a wide receiver with the Buffalo Bills, Ray McCloud. Ray, welcome to the Odd Couple.
What's happening?
How you doing?
We are good, man. It's great to have you on and great to read about the stuff you've been doing. Obviously, there's a lot of focus on the protest and the looting and the destruction and stuff like that. But you tell us what you and some other players did. Your hometown is Tampa Bay or Tampa, Florida. Tell us what you guys did down in Tampa in this situation.
Well, we gathered together and just plotted out a game plan to be positive, and because we seen what was going on the news. Obviously, everybody did, and we just gathered everybody, shot a text out the next day. It was like, let's go clean up and help those in need, because right next door to the Champs Square is another Chinese food restaurant a lot of people go to, a lot of people know about, that got vandalized and destroyed, and they actually hit me up on Instagram for a GoFundMe, and I reposted it on my Instagram, and so we was like, let's just go do that and change the narrative of everything that's going on with the positive and negative stuff that was going on with the destruction, and that's what we did, and it ended up everybody like that was driving by started pulling up, and we needed to go get more gloves, more garbage bags. Some people even brought waters out, so.
So were these all NFL players, or if not, what were other guys? Where are they from, and how many was there roughly?
It had to be about 60 to 70 people.
Wow.
And we definitely, I think it was like 4 maybe NFL players. I know my little brother's a college quarterback at USF, but the original starters of it that hit me up about it were my 2 cousins, Route God, who was a trainer, James Everett, and Marquise Levette, who was an older cousin. We always in a group message talking about certain stuff, and we was trying to find a way to be positive, and they were like, Ray, I think we should do this so we can be positive about stuff. Try to make this a positive situation, which came out to be.
Ray, let me ask you about the whole Kaepernick situation, because Kaepernick tried to bring this to the forefront and on the national stage 4 years ago about the epidemic of young unarmed black men being killed by white police officers all over the country. It was terrible, and the league shunned him. A lot of people didn't want to hear what he had to say, even though it was peaceful. And then when you think about what's happened now and transpired now, what was your stand with Kaepernick, or did you know at that time what he was trying to do, what he was trying to bring light? Just give me some thoughts about Kaepernick and what he was trying to do and where we are now.
I want to talk into detail about that, because people have their own opinions, and then some people agree, some people disagree. But for me, I just feel like Kaepernick had his own opinion about something, and he rolled with it, and I don't applaud him for that. He ran with what he felt, and I applaud him for that. And he felt that was right for him. He fought for what he thought was right, so I applaud him for that. But for me, I think he tried to do it quietly, and that's the only thing I got out of that. It was I feel like he tried to do it quietly on the knee, and now it became violence and destruction. So something has to change in that way.
Are you Ray McCloud, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, joining us? I don't know how many NFL players you're in contact with, but the ones you are talking with, what's the general feeling about what's going on and, just what you're seeing out there? And not only that, but what happened to George Floyd and police brutality in general that African Americans have to deal with?
It should have never happened from the get-go, and that's something our country has to do better on. It's happened all over the world, not just here. And so I stand by what's right, and that wasn't right.
how about now? I have a list here, and I'm trying to see. Has Buffalo put out a statement? Because all the NFL teams haven't even put out a statement when it comes to the police brutality. In fact, 15 of the 32 teams have made statements, and I'm looking for Buffalo. Is Buffalo on the list of making statements?
We got an email from our GM and our owners and stuff. So if that's the email, the statement you're talking about, the statement went towards us. I don't know if it went to the public.
Yeah, I don't see. No, they did make Buffalo did make a public statement. Does that mean anything to you? Because some teams, their ownership and coaches haven't made statements. Does that mean anything?
It means a lot that they hit us up, not individually, but as a team. They put us in a teamwork group message and sent it to everybody. And they had our back, and they were just they don't know what we feel, but they just whatever we do, they have our back, and that means a lot.
What there are players that the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell put out a statement that was, fairly vague. Obviously, sorry to the Floyd family and all that.
Yeah.
There are players that came out and criticized that statement. What is your take on the statement and the players that are critical of it? Would you like to see the league do more? Do you think they can do more? What's your take?
I actually didn't see the statement myself, but I wouldn't want to speak on that anyway.
Just on the what the league is saying. Do you think they need to do more in this situation?
I think they should do more. Should say more, and other than that, it's not something I would want to speak on and say someone's wrong or right. Everybody has an opinion, but whether my opinion matters or not, no one should lose their life, and no matter the case.
Right. Some things are not just a matter of opinion.
Right.
Some things are clear cut, right and wrong.
And we know that, right. We saw what we saw in Minneapolis was wrong. I don't care who's watching.
Yeah. Whether my opinion matters or not, that was wrong regardless.
Right. Well, what are you? Last thing, are you being told anything from the Bills about the pandemic and what the prospects are of playing and, how they're going to get you guys together come, the fall?
Well, right now, I know for my coach it's June 18th, and that's our last meeting day. We didn't have there was nothing said about us coming back right now, so I don't know.
What kind of shape are you able to stay in? Like, what kind of workouts are you able to get in?
I get in every workout I need to get in.
Really? So where at?
In Tampa, I have a few fields. I have a weight room. I have my own weight room. I have my own field in my backyard that's got at least a good distance to run. But other than that, my coach might let me use the field when I need it.
Okay.
All
cool.
right.
All right, that's Ray McLeod, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. And look, thanks for all you've done down there in Tampa with the cleanup.
Yes, sir.
Keep up the good work, man. All right, we'll see you.
Y'all have a good day.
You too.